This is a review of a SABRE tear gas and pepper spray and the practice canister that came with it. I'll talk about the practice canister first. I like this practice canister. It is a good representation of a real pepper spray. The safety works the same as the real one. The trigger feels the same as the real one. I wish it was larger. The practice canister is smaller than the real one. Is it any thicker? No, they're the same thickness. I would gladly pay an extra $1 to have more, inert water in this practice canister. Having said that, it is large enough, in my opinion. It's enough for some good practice sprays and to get a feel of how to use a pepper spray. I'll roll in the footage of me testing this. Like you saw, this puts out a nice stream of inert spray at about 8 to 10 feet. That's what the documentation says. It's an 8 to 10 foot range. That's true in my experience from my testing. I think this is highly accurate at about 8 feet. 10 feet might be pushing it a little. This is filled with water, so if you make a mistake, it'll be okay. This won't cause any eye or lung pain. So that's good. I highly recommend a practice canister when you can get your hands on one. Let's talk about the real pepper spray. I like it. It's a nice size. This is the minimum size I think that anybody should have with a pepper spray. I'll roll in the footage of me testing this. It's a good shooter. It puts out a stream basically the same as the practice canister. Let's talk about the belt clip. This belt clip is functional. It works well. The tooth here will grip into the back of a belt and will hold it securely. I think this clip is strong enough to even handle some amount of running. I wouldn't use this as a running pepper spray, but if you have to sprint, I think this clip and this tooth will hold this pepper spray on there very well. The tooth here will damage a belt. Look at that picture there in the top left. It will dig into a belt and then leave a streak on it. I'm okay with that because I use a very old belt as my everyday belt, so the fact that it causes some very minor damage is okay with me. But you might not be okay with that. You may use much more expensive belts than me, and in that case, I would recommend not using the clip. This has tear gas in it, which is nice because some people do not have a negative reaction to pepper spray. So with tear gas, there's an extra chemical that might be able to stop Mr. or Mrs. Bad Guy. In my experience, tear gas also gets into the atmosphere more. It just gets into the air more, and it's just more, how do I say it? It goes from a liquid to a gas. Well, it's called tear gas, so maybe that's why. But it goes from a liquid to a gas much more than, well, not much more, but more than pepper spray does. So it's easier to get, in video game terms, that'd be splash damage, I guess. It's more likely to get into somebody's lungs and eyes than pepper spray, in my experience from testing tear gas and pepper spray combo sprays. Would I use this as my everyday carry pepper spray? Maybe. It's pretty good. There's nothing wrong with it. I generally prefer larger pepper sprays, like this one from Mace. This is what Mace calls a police model. It has a belt clip just like this. It's larger, which means it comes with more spray, more bursts. It will fight wind better than this will. And the clip is better in my opinion. So the tooth on this Mace pepper spray just holds a belt inside of here. It holds a belt between the spray and the clip. The tooth doesn't actually dig into a belt. So it goes in easy, and then it's more difficult to come back out. But with a firm tug, this Mace pepper spray will come off a belt very easily, and then you can just rock and roll, and there will not be any damage to a belt. And I really like larger pepper sprays because they just are so much better than, well, not so much better, they're meaningfully better than a smaller one like this. But you may prefer a small one. They are easier to carry, they're lighter, and they are easier to conceal, and they're generally cheaper than these larger ones, though not by much, a few dollars. So if you can handle a larger pepper spray, I recommend it. I made a video reviewing more than 20 pepper sprays. That video has lots of good everyday carry pepper spray options, pepper sprays for runners, pepper sprays for college students, and other good pepper sprays for different uses. It also has lots of pepper sprays that I would not buy, that I do not think you should buy, that are bad uses of money, and that I would not trust my life or my self-defense needs with. Check out that video. It's a good idea.